you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about the official trailer that came out for Doom Patrol Season 4. If you haven't seen it already, I'll include a link to it in the description down below. But obviously, we introduced the whole time travel machine situation from last season, and obviously we're going to be leaning into that a lot more as Kip is showing up, because Kip always shows up with bad news. It's like, hey, Immortus is coming, it's the end of the world, it's basically an apocalypse situation. We even see like Cyborg at one point in time almost in a very apocalyptic situation. Seems like people are laying on the ground at one point in time dead. First and foremost, I'm like, why does the name Immortus sound so familiar to me? I don't know why. I don't know if it's from another DC property or just that name sounds so familiar. I don't know if that's something that came up last season. Like, it sounds so familiar. And I thought it was so interesting because they're answering a question that I had at the beginning of the series and then I just brushed it away, was a whole conversation of, why is it that none of them age? I just assumed it was like a metahuman thing. Like, especially in Jane's case, I thought maybe something to do with her being a metahuman. Same thing for Rita. Same thing for Larry. I thought like maybe the negative spirit kept him from aging. And even Cliff, it's like, yeah, you're a human brain and a robot, but that's also the thing. You're a human brain. Eventually, a human brain would age and eventually decay no matter what. Even if it's in a robot, you would think a brain would still get older and older. I mean, so, I don't know. But the fact is that it's like, no, there's a reason why you guys haven't aged for a decade, and it's kind of correlated and connected to all of this. It might have something to do with Niles. Maybe he looked into some of the Immortus project and stuff like that and allocated some of that to this, or maybe that is something directly connected to Niles. I'm just not remembering. Speaking of, we do see Dorothy a little bit in the trailer, so I'm curious, was it the Dead Agency's boy? Was it the Dead Detectives Agency? Or I forgot what their name was. They popped up last season for a little bit. They left with Dorothy, so they might be coming back. Because I don't know if that's still happening, but I remember there was supposed to be like a show about them. What was it? The Dead Detective Boys or something, like agency or something like that. I'm blanking on it. But obviously we just see your typical Doom Patrol shenanigans. There's one point in time they're wearing outfits that I'm like, are they wearing stuff from Star Trek? It looked like at one point it seemed like they were wearing like it seemed like Cliff was wearing like a yellow uniform. I'm like, that looks very Star Trek-ish, but maybe it's kind of supposed to be like a parody, which is so interesting because like one hand in hand with like, because Legends of Tomorrow did kind of a Star Trek parody because the Legends were stuck in TV shows at one point in time, so it was kind of like that, and so they did kind of a Star Trek thing. I want to say that was like season 6. That might have been. Might even been season 5. I don't remember now. But yeah, I'm just curious if that was supposed to be that, and just shenanigans ensuing. Like, you know, obviously the butts are back because that's just like a running thing in this show. Are those like living butts that constantly pop up and kill and eat people? So there's that. They also, I love that it's like, oh, we have to go back to the beginning, and we see at one point Victor's got like braces. Everyone's in like very classic clothes, and I guess because of Victor, I'm like, oh, is this supposed to be them pre their circumstances that made them what they were? Because we do, obviously, we've seen it from time to time, but we even see at one point in time Cliff is, you know, Brendan Fraser. So it's like, okay, so could it be that, you know, they're all going back to like, we have to start at the beginning before we all became who we became? So, and try to stop that, or what that necessarily correlates to. Like, obviously, the Doom Patrol trailers are just the most, like, crazy, maddening stuff that you just, like, slice together. It's like, they don't want you to make sense of it. Obviously, Madame Rouge, you know, still filling that role in. It's like, oh, and I think she even said the line of like, oh, we should go, you know, do the superhero thing. She said something along those lines, and Rita's just kind of like, oh, fine, we'll do it. Obviously, Rita's always struggled with the superhero thing, but also hearing it from Madame Rouge saying that too, it's like, considering their beef last season, it's just like, you know, but obviously they've worked through that, and I'm sure there's still even more work to kind of work through on that front. Obviously, a big storyline I'm curious about too, the continuation of, is the whole Jane thing, like the way the situation that the Underground was in last season. To my recollection, it's been a while, obviously. I don't think that was ever resolved, so I think some of that's still at play. Obviously, once again, a lot of stuff is out of context, so I don't even know what to fully expect from this season, but once again, I don't care. Just excited for Doom Patrol, and obviously it's only like maybe a couple weeks away at this point in time, so I'm very, very excited. Obviously, these are just some of my thoughts. You know, I'd love to get to know yours. What do you expect from this season? What do you want to see from this season? Just let me know all your thoughts. But really, that's all I'm going to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.